Second. All right, how's it going, my Comic Chat Army? We're here today with, I'm gonna get y'all to introduce yourselves. Whoever wants to start, yeah. Because it's different on my side.
Gotcha. Yeah. Pete Collins, artist on the Bardic Versus.
And I'm Matt Summo. I'm the writer of the Bardic Versus.
All right. So how did y'all two gentlemen meet?
Pretty interesting story. We do share the same employer as our I use the phrase day job. When I started after Pete. Pete started a couple years before me, and he worked in the building that I started at. He works in a different building now. But when I would walk around the building and see drawings that he would do, like little doodles that he would do and give out to people. There's one specific one I know for sure was one of Batman. And I asked the person that he gave it to, like, where did you get, like, who drew this? Where did you get it? Like, when did you get it? When did they start working here? Are they still here? Like, basically asking him every single question about Pete. Fast forward to the Christmas party, and that's where him and I first met. And we were just talking about comics. I was asking him, like, kind of grilling him about, like, does he still draw? Is he still interested in drawing? Would he want to draw if we had a project? And then I kind of asked him, I was working on an anthology at the time called Kayfabe Volume 3. It was a pro wrestling anthology. I had done Volume 2 before that. But I said, hey, listen, like, I'll reach out to see if they want, like, a pinup or something if you're interested. And he was like, yeah, I'm definitely interested. I reached out. He got into the book. Once he held that print copy in his hand, I don't want to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure this is the case. When he held that print copy in his hand, it was off to the races. He got bit by the bug. He wanted to do more. And then we started workshopping what became the Bardic Versus.
Yeah, that's all accurate. And ironically too, like, you know, when Matt was, you know, asking about the art that he was seeing, I was also hearing from other people like, hey, there's this guy you should talk to. He's written some comic books. You know, you guys probably have a lot in common. So it was kind of like, you know, I was looking for him, he was looking for me. We met, you know, then the bromance ensued.
Nice. So, for Matt, you've done several books before this, right?
Yeah.
This is your first book, Pete, right?
This is my first. Yeah.
Okay.
Matt's got credits. I don't.
All right. Is the book on Kickstarter now?
Yes, it is.
Yep, it launched on 9/8. We are about 96% funded at this juncture, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, our goal is pretty modest because we designed it that way. Pete and I are not taking a page rate. All of the money that goes towards the book is going towards production, which is paying for lettering, paying for some of the pinups that we have in the back, and then just printing. That's it. So we kept our goal. Our goal is 5,000. I think we're at 4 and change right now. It's pretty humbling. I mean, we reached that amount, I think, in a little over a week.
Oh.
Yeah. It was 9 days. 9 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's exciting too. So I guess give us the pitch of the book really quick. I know you told me before we started recording.
Yeah, no worries. It's about Martillon Swordhand. Is the son of a famous warrior from a long line of famous warriors. All the patriarchs in his family were these great warrior characters, and he's not. Martillon is a bard. He decided to not pick up the sword and instead picked up a lute. And he's a storyteller / musician who just travels, with other parties and records the things that they do. We lovingly refer to him as a non-playable character. Like he's sort of the underdog. Like he's the character that people don't normally pick first. And in our book, it's just basically him in a tavern, playing a set list of songs or verses, stories, and we kind of see him, we follow him on a couple of different adventures that he goes on and watch him kind of creatively solve problems without picking up a sword. And again, it's him like basically dealing with the fact that he's from this long line of warriors, and he's not that. So he kind of has to deal with, the stigma that comes with not following in the family business.
All right, what time period is this? Is this like barbarians way back then? I don't know the time, the year.
It's fantasy, so it's whatever whatever time it would take place, and there's no real time period per se. It's like kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, where it's a fantastical realm with all different types of creatures and people and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. With issue 2, are you going to do like track 2, call issue 2 like track 2, or?
That's a great suggestion. We might go the Guardian. So first, let me stop. If this funds, we do have plans. This is a full trade, by the way, so it's not even an issue. This is about 66 pages of story, and the rest of it is all like process. The full book is going to be about 80 pages or so. There is talk of a volume 2. I think we would probably call it volume 2, but we definitely have it outlined. We have a very loose outline for it. Pete has some drawings that he's done, but there is talks, if this goes well, which obviously it seems like it's going to, we're going to definitely pursue a second volume of this for sure.
Okay. Are you doing any consultations, art consultations or anything like that, Pete?
No, not really. With our Kickstarter, I've got a couple of different art tiers that I'm offering, both traditional and digital. One of the cool ones is actually I would draw people's Dungeons and Dragons characters or Shadowrun characters or whatever their game of choice is, whatever the character they're playing. I would do it in a high res digital portrait, and then convert that over to a canvas print that's 11 by 17. So I'm not really consulting. I'm kind of the way that I've had to draw the book, right? It's a lot of bouncing back and forth, right? Bouncing between my own style and the styles that I'm trying to harness from other artists, right? There's some Frank Miller, there's some Rob Liefeld, there's some Bill Watterson, there's some Ryan Oatley, there's Jack Kirby in there. And what I found is, like, while I'm trying to do that, it's like learning to draw again every time. Right, like how do you draw the eyes on this character in this page? How do you draw the posture? Like, everybody's different, and so the only consulting I've done is for myself. That is directly related to hours and hours of internet searches. So, but it's been for the better. It's been mega challenging at times, but also highly rewarding, to say, okay, I got that Kirby down. And, that was a great feeling. But at the end of it too, because I started sequentially, starting from page 1 and going in order, I was ping-ponging in and out. And then at some point we had to go back. It was like, we hit like the page 40 or 50 mark. But I realized I had to go back and redo the first few pages of the book because my style completely changed. Like, I was picking up good habits and bad habits along the way. So I had to go back and just make some tweaks, just to keep everything uniform, which was, I think some people would probably think that was a bother or, like a burden. For me, it totally wasn't. Yeah, it added some time, right? Like, I had to dedicate the time to do it. But it was really cool to see, like, here's page 1 that I drew before, and here's page 1 that I drew about a year later, and they're two totally different levels. I think the term glow up has been used a few times. I honestly didn't know what that meant before.
I'm not even sure what it means. Tell us what it means really quick.
I guess it means to like take something and like visually improve on it in like grand ways, right?
Okay.
Like those makeover shows, right? Like, someone's got a house and it's a wreck or whatever. Someone comes in, slaps some paint up, puts some boards up, bam, looks like $1 million. Same kind of thing, but with comic art.
All right. As the artist, did you draw y'all two in the book anywhere?
No, we did draw. We did draw some other people though. We've got some colleagues of ours that are being added into the book. We actually raffled off a spot in the book for a local cancer charity here in like the tri-state area called Ann's Place. That raised some good money. I don't remember how much. Matt, do you remember? Like it was.
No, it was. I will say though, it was the most popular raffle item that we had in a series. They had like 25 raffle items, and ours was like number one, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's a lucky recipient that's being added into a few panels there. We've got Matt has a friend James who donated some money at the beginning of the pandemic to supporting like local bookshop owners and comic shops. So we did like a mini raffle there, and we have a couple of contributors in the book that we did add in. Nick, who's doing a pinup, and Carlos, who actually handled the art duties for the map that we're including in the background, just so you can kind of see the world and the setting. Very Dungeons and Dragons-esque. So we added both of them into the book as well. Beyond that, though, I'm not in it. Matt's not in it until he tells me he wants to be, and then
nope, no interest.
And then but there is plenty of Easter eggs though. There's plenty of Easter eggs. Like one day I was drawing, and my youngest son was like, "Dad, could you put a woolly bear in there?" One of those little furry caterpillars, and I was just like, "Yeah, sure." And like I tucked it in like this really small space. Like you got to zoom in to see it, and like. Not anybody's really going to know that that's there. Like you'll never see it, but he and I will always know that it's there. So
that's cool.
Little things.
That's cool that y'all did a raffle for charity.
Yeah, I think that's Matt and I established very early, I think, into the project, like we're not looking for a payday on this, right? Like we want the book to be published. This is a labor of love. It's not something we're looking to increase our bank accounts on in any capacity. Right. Not that making comics is the kind of thing that changes your tax bracket, I guess, in the first place. But it's so we from that, I think that's kept it fun, right? Like he and I bounce ideas off each other all the time. Some of them get really crazy and stupid, I guess, and some of them land. Some of them are like, hey, that's good volume 2 stuff. And we want to make it as much of an experience as possible, and I think that's even reflective in our Kickstarter campaign, where we don't have 14 stretch goals. We don't have all these different tiers where you get a sticker in this one, a button in that one, a T-shirt in this one. It's simple, man. You get the physical or the digital. We got a few art tiers. That's it. And the physical tier is, it's going to be well put together. You're going to get the physical book, 2 stickers, a high quality bookmark, signed book plate by myself, Matt, and our letterist, Matt Krotzer. It's his birthday today, by the way. And
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And,
happy birthday.
And it's all going to be like shrink wrapped with a cardboard backer in the mailer for added protection. So we're really trying to make it impressive when it lands to people who back it.
Nice. Okay. After the current world events, do y'all plan on going to any Comic-Cons?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're probably going to hit New York for a day, although that's probably going to be the strangest convention I've ever gone to, because there's going to be like no major publishers there. But just to spread the word, get the word out, see some friends in Artist Alley. And then I think starting next year, when, things hopefully start to level out, once the book is in hand, we'll definitely be hitting up local shows in the tri-state area just to post up and move some product.
Yeah. All right. Are y'all in comic shops yet? Or are y'all going to be?
Hopefully. we do have a retailer tier. I have some relationships with comic shops. I worked for a couple of publishers as in marketing. So I know a couple people in my travels that would be an easy sell. I do find that it's tough, right? I think there's a great section of comic shops that are very indie friendly. I will say there is a lot that are, if you're not the big two, if you're not Marvel or DC, they have no interest, and I get it. Like you want to go with the sure thing, but I do think that this book is a lot of fun. I think it's I think there's like one swear in it, so it's relatively all ages. And I think there's nothing out there like it. So I think it's a pretty easy sell for shops. So we're definitely gonna, if we don't get a lot of movement on the retailer tier, like I'll just start utilizing those relationships. I'll start calling shops and seeing if they're interested, even if we're just selling it on like a consignment basis. If we float them, a couple copies, and if they sell it, they give us a piece of it, that's fine. But yeah, the goal is definitely to be in shops. I will say, we've only talked about this a couple times. Our other goal is to pitch it to publishers, because that'll make it even easier. Right now, this is like a total mom and pop operation. Like we're going to be paying for the printing, and then we'd have to send it to the shops, etc. It'd just be 1,000 times easier if the shops are able to just look in previews and find the Diamond code and order it through Diamond. That would just make everyone's lives, and make our lives 1,000 times easier, because we don't have to worry about printing and sending it to them as well. But whatever it takes, like I love shops. I love our local shops. I love the shops that I used to go to when I lived in Connecticut. Even shops outside of Connecticut and New York. There's some shops in New Jersey. But yeah, the goal is to get it wherever we can.
Okay. Any social medias you want people to follow you on, or to get updates?
Yeah, I'm easily tracked down on all social media at PAC Illustration, and yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm at MattManBegins on every form of social media there is, including MySpace and Friendster and AOL. No, that's actually not my AOL screen name. But also the other place I would say to look us up at is at the Kickstarter, TBV. So it's the initials for the Bardic Verses. TBVKickstarter.com. It is the link. It'll take you right to our Kickstarter campaign. Again, we're 96% funded. We do have a couple of the limited art tiers left. I think we're like the lowest on the physical art tier, I think.
Yes. Yeah, we've only got like one more of those left, I think.
And then the other ones are the two. There's a digital art, and these are skewed. So let me explain. These are skewed more towards like your tabletop RPG player. So if you play Pathfinder, Shadowrun, D&D, like Pete will draw your character. So one of the tiers is just a digital, very high quality digital version of your character. The other one is that same thing, but printed on an 11x17 canvas. So you'd have an 11x17 canvas print of your character drawn by Pete to showcase. Yeah, I like he's that looks like 11x17.
It's about that.
It's about the size of a comic page.
It's like that ish.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Pretty good size.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming to talk to me today. Got any shout outs or anything you want to say before we go?
Support your local comic shops, wash your hands, and don't forget to thank your mom when you can.
Yeah. I would say tell your friends you love them, and kiss your pets, and wash your hands.
Yeah, and Chicago's the better pizza.
That is blatantly correct. Yeah. I've been to Chicago. That's blatantly false. Chicago's great for one thing, and that's CM.
What? You haven't subscribed to Comicchatauthority?
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button.
Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.